This is the Sony TC100. It was manufactured in 1966. Originally, the plan was for Philips, who had invented the cassette tape recorder, making it to an acceptable standard for the European manufacturers. And then Philips approached Sony, but couldn't agree to a joint venture to manufacture the standard cassette recorder. So Sony tried to manufacture to their own standards for Japan. Philips' venture proved quite successful in that they managed to work with the European manufacturers, and their tape recorders began to be sold from July 1964. Sony thought that Philips were charging too much in royalties in order to manufacture these tape recorders to their standard. After agreeing with many European countries and manufacturers to manufacture to one standard so that tapes recorded on one company's cassette recorder could be played on any other tape recorder, they approached Sony, but Sony thought the royalty fees Philips was asking for were too high. Sony decided to join in the venture with Philips once their royalty fees were lowered to a very low level. But for Sony, the manufacturing of standard tape recorders didn't actually begin until 1966, and this was their first cassette recorder. The big change from the Philips system was in the controls. Philips used a gear lever style control, where there was a forward control for play and left or right to fast forward or rewind. Sony decided to create their own system. The piano keys we see here for all the various functions. It proved to be popular as many manufacturers decided to shift to this system of controlling the tape recorder. Here we see it with the microphone. Below we can see that there's a tone control and a volume control. And it's got another difference with the Philips system. Philips used to use DIN plugs for connecting various peripherals to the tape recorder. But Sony decided to go for these jack plugs, which would plug into the monitor or the auxiliary, or the microphone had the remote stop-start system. So two plugs were used for that, one for the microphone and one for the stop-start, which we can see here. We can open the cassette lid like so. We also had an eject system, which Philips didn't have. And it's a simple matter of pushing in the eject button and to the left, and the tape pops out. And it's worked by this finger, this plastic finger you see lifted up. It cranks it out. as you can see, there's the erase head and the play head and the ruler. And since this uses a standard cassette, the spindles are exactly the same. So any cassette that's a standard cassette would fit on. Now when you put in the cassette, it pushes down that finger for the ejector, like so, and then it's ready once again to be played or ejected.
Need you to know we were talking to the sunset, throwing dreams against the wall. And now you're 55 years down the road. Oh, I know there's so many ways this could go.
And we can have a quick look at the battery case. This is another unusual style in that the battery case separates from the main unit, and you can load it with the batteries, and it comes with its own lid. It takes 4 batteries, 4 R14 batteries, and it has a system of locking in to the main unit, and then the connectors, the metal points, connect to the metal points in the cassette recorder once it's fitted into place. So you've got the positive, which is this side, and negative is there, and it connects to the positive and negative here. The middle one isn't used for the tape recorder connectors for the batteries, and it just locks, and that's the lock, sprung lock.